It was a bitterly cold December morning in New York City. Snow blanketed the streets like a soft white quilt, and the wind howled through the buildings. People hurried past one another, some off to work, some to school, each lost in the routine of life. In front of St. Mary's General Hospital, a sleek white SUV pulled up. From it stepped Dr. David Miller, one of the top neurosurgeons in the city. Beside him, his wife Emily, and holding a science project in his gloved hands, their 12-year-old son Ethan. "Dad," Ethan asked quietly, his eyes hopeful, "will you be there for the science fair today?" Dr. David smiled, crouched down, and ruffled his hair. "Of course, buddy. I wouldn't miss it for the world. You're my greatest experiment." Ethan beamed, clutching his project a little tighter. But none of them knew, that moment would be their last as a whole family. As they left the hospital and turned onto the main road, a large truck, unable to stop on the icy pavement, lost control and slammed into their SUV. The crash was devastating. Dr. David was pronounced dead at the scene. Emily survived, but her spine was shattered. She would never walk again. And Ethan, he woke up in a hospital bed 2 days later, broken, confused, and very alone. The laughter, the warmth, the life they had, was gone. They moved into a tiny, dimly lit apartment on the edge of Queens. Emily, now paralyzed from the waist down, needed constant care. And 12-year-old Ethan became everything. He woke up early every morning, helped his mom bathe, changed her clothes, prepared her medication, made a quick breakfast, and then rushed to school, his backpack in one hand, and an ache in his heart. After school, he didn't go home to video games or snacks like other kids. He went to work. He washed cars. Cleaned restaurant tables. Shoveled snow from sidewalks. Wiped windshields at red lights. Polished shoes on subway stations. Whatever little money he made, he kept in a jar labeled "For Mom." One evening, Emily called him over with teary eyes. "Ethan, don't you ever get tired?" He looked at her, smiled, and replied softly, "I don't get tired, Mom. I just get stronger." At school, Ethan struggled. He came in with wrinkled clothes, uncombed hair, and eyes that looked like they hadn't slept in days. One morning in class, Ethan's head slowly dropped onto his desk. He was asleep before the teacher even started roll call. His science teacher, Miss Carter, a no-nonsense woman with a stern reputation, spotted him and walked over with firm steps. Without a word, she opened her water bottle and sprinkled cold water on Ethan's face. He jerked awake, startled. "This is not your bedroom," she snapped. "Maybe if you spent less time playing games and more time sleeping at night, you wouldn't disrespect my class." Ethan sat up straight, lowered his eyes, and whispered, "I'm sorry, ma'am." He didn't defend himself. He didn't say he'd been working all night. He didn't say he hadn't eaten dinner because he gave his food to his mom. He just stayed silent. And Ms. Carter walked away, thinking she had taught him a lesson. That evening, Ms. Carter was driving home when she stopped at a red light near the subway. That's when she saw him. Ethan. Wearing the same clothes from class. Holding a rag. Rubbing the windshield of a stranger's car, his small hands trembling in the cold. Her breath caught. "That's Ethan." She parked her car and watched as he worked. Then she followed him. From one car to the next. From the street corner to a tiny apartment, where she saw him will a woman, his mother, inside, cover her with a blanket, and begin making soup on a small stove. Ms. Carter stood in the shadows, her heart sinking. All she could think about was what she had said that morning. "This is not your bedroom." And now she knew. It never was. The next day in class, Ethan was again asleep at his desk. But this time, Ms. Carter didn't shout. After class, she walked quietly to his desk, placed a small envelope next to his books, and left the room. When Ethan woke up, he found it. Inside was a $20 bill, and a handwritten note. "This isn't for what you didn't do. It's for what you're doing that no one sees. Ms. Carter." He stared at it for a long time. Then tears filled his eyes. One by one, other students noticed. One girl added a granola bar. Another boy gave him a new pair of gloves. Someone else dropped a small toy. Another left a sticky note, "You're brave. You're not alone. We see you, Ethan." By lunchtime, his desk looked like a table of kindness. Ethan said nothing. He just cried quietly, for the first time, not from pain, but from being seen, when the world saw his light. Ms. Carter shared his story with the school counselor. The school principal reached out to a nonprofit. Within a week, a medical team visited their home. Emily was enrolled in a rehabilitation program. The community donated a wheelchair ramp, groceries, and heating for their apartment. A local news channel picked up their story. Soon, the whole country was talking about the boy who slept in class. Because he was saving his mother. Donations poured in. A scholarship was offered. Life slowly began to change. 15 years passed. In a private hospital in New York, an elderly woman was brought in with early-stage Alzheimer's. Her vision was fading. Her voice was soft. The new attending doctor walked in, checked her chart, then sat beside her. He gently took her hand and said, "Do you remember the day you poured water on my face in class?" The woman turned slowly toward him. "Ms. Carter, that day, you woke me up from pain. But more than that, you reminded me that someone saw me. And that changed everything." She smiled. Tears rolled down both their cheeks. Because the little boy who once slept in her classroom had become Dr. Ethan Miller, a neurosurgeon just like his father. Sometimes, a child's silence hides the loudest battles. Sometimes, a nap in class is the result of a sleepless, selfless night. Before we judge, we must pause. Because the boy sleeping in class might just be the bravest person we'll ever meet.